Hello there, once again, this is yours truly, Clarissa, Talaga for Lifestyle Lucena, and today is the 22nd of September 2009, coming from a long weekend. Well, it's a little bit slow, but bear with me as it becomes more animated and more active start of the week. For my initial salvo, I want to bring up a very controversial issue, at least within my own family circle. It was when, that time that I have declared that I was going to be a senatorial candidate for 2007 national election. January 30th, 2007, I was in possession of a application form when I got swak sa rehab. May letter pa ako nun, natatandaan ko, may letter pa ako nun kay Chairman Abalos, Benjamin Abalos. And up to now, no, I still have yet to get that envelope full of my foolishness. I also would like to take this opportunity to say thank you talaga to the person who received me, si Kuya Jake Espiritu. At that time, I really felt that the ground under me swallowed me up. It was how miserable I felt when I realized I was inside a fence, diba? But Kuya Jake, he was very reassuring, and somehow I could feel that through his voice, all was not lost. Of course, the action behind it was full of done with good intention, but at the time, it all seemed like a doomsday talaga. Nevertheless, I had that moment. Why should I think the adventure, my episode, would come back at this time of year? I want to share it with you. So those who are listening and viewing this broadcast, sit back and let me take you as I go back to the memory lane and as I journey back to how it has been that I become a senatorial candidate. Nuisance, probably. I promise to give a good laugh, be it in my expense. Let's analyze the whole thing. I was kind of debating with myself whether I would tackle this from the perspective of politics, like what I know about it and my own involvement with it, or this particular episode talaga in my life wherein I had the mindset of drove everyone confusion, because who was I to aspire for the national office, where in fact it was just the latest actually from the number of beliefs that I had there. Diba? In my previous broadcast, I said that I had believed that I was a Nobel Peace Prize awardee. My claim to national quote and unquote fame was because of that Nobel Peace Prize, and because I was Pulitzer. I believe then that I was the first. I should guess that rationally, if that were true, then the prestige alone could have taken my foot inside the door, nationally speaking. That was the mindset that I had. That if it were true, then I was putting myself where my mouth was taking me. If I was truly convinced of what I believed then, that they were true, then there is nothing that could have stand in my way of aspiring for a national office. Of course, my father said, hinay-hinay ka lang, one step at a time, one step at a time. Walk slowly, and of course, you would need your family. Kinausap ako ni Papa noon. But, hindi ako na nakikinig, because, what? My mind was full of grandiose. Diba? I was a winner, and my father was telling me na I had to take one step at a time. Parang hindi, I was already there. I had already arrived. Diba? Why would I listen to my father? Anyway, so ando na the point na nagbastusan na, I was very full of myself, self-absorbed. Ang sa akin, if it were not true, ano mangyayari, diba? Humiliation was a price I was willing to pay, because I was gambling, I was taking a risk. Because if that were true, if my beliefs were true, then I would expedite the confirmation. But if it were not true, then I was making a fool of myself. Fine. Jackpot win or, losing myself. 'Di ba? I was really a poker player. 'Di ba? I know I was gambling, but I entered into it with my eyes wide open to the possibility that I was building on sandcastles lang talaga. There was nothing to it, but I was willing to take the risk because I thought that I did not have the blessing and the support that I needed to run for any office. I opted to gamble big time, and of course, I didn't want to do it in my own name because I really wanted to disassociate myself from the family. So I opted to use a family name without the consent of the person. So ang nangyari, when I was put into the rehab, I was using the name which I have no reason to think that a permission was given to me. Of course, I wasn't suffering from any episodes of delusions because I know full well that I was gambling. I was borderline, ang tawag, borderline personality, living on edge. Palaging may higher risk factor. When I used someone else's name and said that I was married to him, I covered all my tracks naman. I covered my tracks. Of course, I know that I wasn't married, that there was no ceremony that married me to this man for several, sinabi ko na nga yung mga dahilan. And I kept all those proofs. Alam ko naman eh.